I belong to the organization called Japanese Business Alliance for Smart Energy Worldwide. We call it in short, JSW. So today, I'd like to introduce our organization. What is JSW and what we are doing now? What are we doing now? And first of all, I'd like to show you our video presentation, and it can introduce our organization, what we do. Yeah. So let me hold the picture. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now you can see.
JSW, the Japanese Business Alliance for Smart Energy Worldwide, is a coalition of Japanese companies which have a variety of excellent energy-related technologies and products, and wishes to spread them around the world. It was established in 2008 with the full support from the Japanese Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, and the strong Japanese Business Federation, known as Keidan-ren. As Mr. Hiroaki Nakanishi of Hitachi is the chairman of Keidan-ren, he also assumes the chairman position of JSW. The mission of JSW, along with Japan and its business industries, is to make significant contributions to the global environment and carbon reduction by disseminating their various advanced energy-efficient technologies and products broadly around the globe. Since its foundation, JSW has been carrying out many activities in various countries with close cooperation with Japanese ministries and industries. Currently, more than 40 innovative Japanese companies in a wide range of business areas are becoming JSW members. They are ready to offer a wide variety of advanced technologies and products for effective energy use, as well as related consultancy and financial services to the world, effectively serving the global efforts of energy saving and decarbonization. In addition to the private companies as JSW members, various Japanese government ministries such as METI, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Environment, etc., as well as other public organizations and representative offices of multinational development banks and so forth, are supporting JSW as its observers. Closely related to various energy associations like Solar and ESCO, other specific industry organizations related to electricity, iron, chemical, etc., are becoming associate members of JSW. To date, JSW, in close cooperation with various Japanese government agencies and ministries, has been dispatching public-private joint business delegations to many countries. These countries are ASEAN and other Asian nations such as India and Turkey, Middle Eastern countries such as the UAE and Saudi Arabia, South American nations such as Brazil and Peru, and even African nations and Russia. The member companies are taking advantage of these opportunities to introduce their advanced and energy-efficient technologies and products to these countries' governments and industries, exploring business opportunities and developing cooperation, and serving the smarter energy use and sustainable development of these countries. On top of that, JSW has been positively participating in official energy dialogues between the Japanese government and other countries. Also, member companies are making presentations on their smart energy technologies and their activities. In collaboration with the Japanese government and its various ministries, JSW also convenes energy forums in many countries to introduce member companies' technologies and products. During the business forums, face-to-face intensive business talks and negotiations are also held between interested parties in order to explore business matching opportunities for saving energy. To further deepen the mutual cooperation toward global energy conservation and decarbonization, JSW has signed many MOUs and cooperation agreements between other countries' energy ministries, energy-saving agencies, national ESCO associations, research institutions, and so forth. One of JSW's significant achievements has been the dissemination and promotion of ZEB, or Zero Energy Building. As urbanization and the construction of buildings has been an ever-increasing trend around the world, the issue of energy efficiencies of these buildings is an important topic and should be systematically promoted in many countries. JSW has been actively assisting with this movement, especially cooperating with ASEAN countries where their energy demands and carbon dioxide emissions are rapidly growing. In cooperating closely with the ASEAN Secretariat on Energy, from 2018, ASEAN established the new ZEB Building Award, an award that praises buildings with a good ZEB concept. The JSW Working Group is now organizing seminars and workshops on ZEB in ASEAN countries to share the ZEB concept. The JSW ZEB Working Group has been actively involved with the International Standardizations Organization ISO in order to make a global standard of ZEB. Once this global standard has been made, ZEB handbooks or guidebooks can easily be developed in any country. In the next example, JSW has been active in Indonesia to promote and encourage CHP more widely. This system is not only energy efficient, but also reduces carbon, which will greatly contribute to the greener development of the country. For this purpose, in November 2018, JSW hosted the Japan-Indonesia Business Forum on Energy Efficiency, Conservation, and Renewable Energy in Jakarta. In parallel with the forum, CHP Working Group members and METI officials jointly visited MEMR to exchange opinions about the CHP. JSW is currently proposing a CHP pilot plant project in Indonesia and is keen to help progress this further. Waste to energy is also an area that JSW is tackling. We assume that the burning of garbage or waste will grow worldwide. Therefore, environmentally and socially sound, and the safety of waste disposal facilities should be fully considered before we build them. For this purpose, JSW drafted the Handbook for Quality Waste to Energy Infrastructure in early 2018. In this handbook, we point out that safety, social, and environmental aspects are absolute priorities. For this, we suggest that governments or municipalities obtain actual performance or operating records from plant manufacturers for their current waste disposal plants. By participating in various opportunities through seminars or conferences, the JSW WTE Working Group is working to have this handbook recognized by foreign central or local governments responsible for waste disposal or facing waste disposal issues. In 2020, JSW started a new working group which highlights the Turkey and Black Sea region, where the energy transition through natural gas and pipeline development is rapidly progressing. Currently, the working group continues their work through online meetings, but hopes to conduct actual visits to the region in the future. JSW has been taking part in many international exhibitions to showcase green and smart energy technologies and environments. Through these events, member companies actively introduce advanced and environmentally friendly energy-related products and technologies. For example, JSW and member companies have been attending WFES in UAE, Abu Dhabi almost every year. We have also participated in ASEAN Sustainable Energy Week, which was held in Bangkok. We appreciate that many visitors come to our JSW booth and that the member companies actively explain and show their excellent products and technologies to the visitors looking for mutual business opportunities in the future. Lastly, JSW has been publishing a booklet called Japanese Smart Energy Products and Technologies every year. It compiles the most advanced energy technologies and products developed by JSW member companies. Electronic versions are available on the JSW website in 7 languages: English, Chinese, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, Vietnamese, as well as Japanese. A wide variety of categories of these technologies are listed in this booklet. For example, factories, industries, office buildings, residences, construction, transportation and logistics, power generation and distribution, renewable energy and storage batteries, energy solution services, etc. So please visit and view them on our JSW website. JSW and its member companies aim not only to be excellent business partners for you all, but to also contribute to the smarter energy development around the world. Please do not hesitate to contact us about improving energy efficiency or developing smarter energy. We are always looking forward to cooperating with you through our energy technologies and products to contribute to a greener and decarbonized world.
Okay. Thank you very much for your listening to our introduction video. And today, after this session, we have a one-on-one meeting session. So if you have any question or if you have anything you'd like to know, that one-on-one meeting can be available. So today, I'd like to introduce a little bit more about our activities. One of our activity is zero energy building. So let me introduce some of our activity, one of our activity. Yeah. And okay. So we are now focusing on zero energy building in order to prevent the global warming issue. And okay. Maybe many of you are already aware of building sector are very big, large energy consumers. And so I got from the IEA data, buildings consumes 29% of the total energy consumption. And so in order to establish carbon neutral society, we need to reduce carbon oxide from the building sectors. So
recording in progress.
Okay, so we are now approaching a step-by-step approach. This is Japanese government started this definition, and we are one of them. And the concept of ZB has been expanded to ZEB family according to actual condition. So usually we call nearly ZEB and net ZEB is only ZEB, but we added the definition of ZEB ready. And so ZEB ready, nearly ZEB, and net ZEB is our definition for them. And yeah. And in order to promote awareness raising and sharing of experience and know-how ZB in ASEAN countries, we have been conducting several activities. So our organization are supporting those activities, and our organization consists of public sector and private sectors. And we, since 2017, we have invited people from ASEAN countries to Japan, and we have a training program about ZB. And since last year, we are organizing online seminars because of COVID-19 pandemic. So we have in Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia also. And in Japan, in order to promote ZEB, we published pamphlets and design guidelines. And in order to share knowledge and know-how, ZEB design guideline in English is also available. And if you want to see our pamphlet or guideline, we have English version, translated version from Japanese, but it might be your reference. And especially in Malaysia, we have concluded the MOU between JSW and Sustainable Energy Development Authority in Malaysia. And since last year, we have conducted several workshops for establishing a design guideline in Malaysia. And also we are promoting international recognized idea for them. So we are making a international standard for zero energy building step-by-step approach. So we proposed this approach in September 2018 to ISO. And we have been actively proceeding this technical specification together with ASEAN countries members, such as Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines. And now the final ballot for issuing this approach as a TS23764. And we expect this technical specification can get an international agreement soon. So based on this standard, you can develop your own policies or measurement adapting your country's situation. This TS23764 consists of 6 elements. But I will not explain the detail, but I'd like to say that this document describes the basic concept from the planning stage to after completion. Once published, you can review and utilize these documents. And since 2019, in ASEAN Energy Award included zero energy subcategories. So yes, last year, 2 of them are awarded. One is in Singapore and the other one is Malaysia. We hope this year some country gets this award. And in order to for this mission, and we can be the catalyst. Most important point is the policy and the measurement for disseminate the EB. And let us support your policy making and measures for disseminating the EB in your country. And also now we are aiming for a pilot project in ASEAN countries. So if you have any idea for a pilot project, please let us know. Okay. And this is our presentation. So if you are interested in our organization, please contact to us. And if you have any question, please fill in chat. We can go back to you. That's all my presentation.
Okay, thank you. And now it's the next session with Mr. Mark from Smart DT.
Yep.
Okay, for Mr. Mark, are you ready? Mr. Mark?
Yes, now I can say something. You hear me?
Okay. Yes, yes. Okay, Mr. Mark, are you ready for your presentation?
Yes, I should be sharing my screen.
Okay. Okay, please, the time is yours and you have 30 minutes to present.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I hope that everyone is okay with me presenting in English. We are Smart Indonesia, the local agent for Smart Chiller Group. Smart is the pioneer for oil-free chillers with magnetic bearing compressors. This is what the compressors look like in more detail. They have been in the market now since 2001, so almost for 20 years. So not quite a new innovation. Still, in 2021, we see now a lot of uptake also in Indonesia due to the significant advantages of these machines. As Smart Chiller Group, we focus purely on magnetic bearing chillers and corresponding technology. So our product range encompasses air-cooled chillers, water-cooled chillers, evaporative chillers, and now in 2021 also solar integrated chillers and heat pumps. In Indonesia, we have now quite a significant footprint of some 30,000 TR, with the first installation already since 2011. So we're celebrating about 10 years in Indonesia this year. The global market share of turbo-core oil-free chillers has increased dramatically, predominantly due to the efficiency that they provide. The product range of the chillers is continuing to grow, with larger and larger chillers available as oil-free chillers. We also offer now these models with low global warming or no global warming potential refrigerant, which is becoming increasingly an issue with Kigali being now in place. Water-cooled chillers typically you will find have multiple compressors if they are from Smart, if they are oil-free, whereas conventional chillers have only one large compressor. This, besides the energy efficiency, provides one of the key advantages for our chillers. Since the compressor is the one critical part on a chiller, having multiple compressor gives you simply redundancy, as well as the ability to unload into low loads, so more operational flexibility, which is very, very important. What we also do, which is quite unique, is we can mix our various compressors on one single chiller to provide a very specific machine for your load requirement. Typically, this means that we add one small compressor to a large compressor chiller to being able to achieve very, very low loads or bridge gaps in our performance profile with this particular compressor type. We also offer air-cooled chillers. I am actually very, very supportive and pushing air-cooled chillers, especially in the Indonesian market, because despite the general acceptance that in Indonesia one should use water-cooled chillers, the efficiency of our air-cooled chillers is really fantastic, because Indonesia's climate isn't actually as hot as many people imagine, and as such the performance is very, very good, and you get rid of all your water-related problems. Specifically on this issue, we'll be hosting a virtual plant tour right after this presentation at 10 o'clock, where we present our chiller plant retrofit replacement project at the L'Oreal facility in Jababeka in East Jakarta, where we have replaced a water-cooled chiller plant with air-cooled chillers, and found that not only have we saved the plant 20% of its total water consumption, because cooling towers that are used for water-cooled chillers are very, very water consuming, but also save them energy, changing from water-cooled chiller plants to an air-cooled chiller plant. So our air-cooled chillers are really, really fantastic machines. We see a lot of interest in air-cooled chillers now, especially from data centers, which do recognize that water supply is a major issue. And as they do very, very detailed energy modeling, they also realize that the energy penalty supposedly for air-cooled chillers isn't actually that high at all with our oil-free air-cooled chillers. Now, in Indonesia, why are we at this energy efficiency conference with chillers? Well, because cooling is by far the largest single electricity consumer of buildings in tropical climates like Indonesia. In a typical building, you can simply say that some 60% of the total electricity consumption is the HVAC system. And of that 60%, the vast majority, 80%, is the chiller itself. PLN electricity prices have increased since we've entered the market. And as such, electricity bills are a concern to customers. We have seen quite a bit of interest in saving electricity. And typically this means with a smart chiller plant, with an optimized chiller plant, you can reduce your total electricity bill by 20 to 30% of the total bill. What is important, as with most energy efficiency technologies, the initial cost is just a small part of the picture. Yes, like most energy efficiency technologies, our chillers are slightly more expensive, simply because we have multiple compressors on the machines. As such, we cannot offer the same prices as machines with just one compressor. However, the operating life of a chiller isn't 3 years or 4 or 5 years, it's 20 years. So over this very, very long operating life, the efficiency advantage far outstrips the disadvantage of a slightly higher capex. And overall, we'll see typically paybacks or break-even points at some 1 to 3 years, and return on investments of often over 1,000%. So energy efficiency with smart chillers is one of the best investments anyone can make, especially in these times of tight markets, of economic downturns due to COVID. Energy is something you consume in any case. A chiller is something you need to use in any case. This is a certain way to improve your profitability. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the specific load profile where the smart chiller is very, very appropriate to use. What is important to remember for cooling loads for buildings is that they are critical, right? Critical cooling load means that the equipment needs to be sufficiently large to cool your building for the worst case condition. The worst case condition is full sunshine on the hottest wet bulb day of the year, and full occupation, which means full ventilation rates, full internal equipment running, and on top of that, backup and safety factors. So all of this leads to a large block of potential cooling demands, which, however, occurs only very rarely together, because all these factors together happen maybe 1% of the time. So your design load is a maximum cooling load that you hardly ever need to reach. Now, once this case in point is with the ambient climate. You see here the weather charts for tropical climate. We design at these very worst temperatures, but you see the normal operation is significantly lower, and as such the cooling demand is significantly lower. What does it mean for the chillers? For the chillers, it means that your chillers will typically run in partial load. Not at 100%, but the vast majority of the time they run in partial loads. This is important because that means your machine needs to be efficient at partial loads, because that's where you use it 90% of the time. However, most chillers are designed exactly the opposite way around. The Malaysian Energy Performance Standard, already issued in 2014, recognizes this very much. It actually says 50% load, as in partial load, will occur 65% of the time. So what they're wanting to say with this, look at the efficiency of chillers at these load points, not at 100% load points. And here with the efficiency curve of the smart chiller, you can see that our efficiency is actually improving the more we unload the chiller. So at 100%, our efficiency is good, but it's not necessarily better than a conventional chiller. But where we have a significant efficiency advantage is in these partial loads, and this is where you operate most of the time. Here is a classic comparison with a conventional chiller. You see at 100%, we're quite similar. Then conventional chillers become slightly more efficient to about 80% and then quickly drop off to become less efficient in partial loads, simply because they have only one compressor, and that compressor cannot unload because it needs to maintain a certain compression ratio for the refrigerant. Our advantage with multiple compressors is we can unload on multiple compressors. Each of the compressor has a VSD, and as such improve the efficiency down to very low loads. Typically, we can operate to at least 20% with improving efficiency, sometimes even lower. The same characteristics, because we use the same compressors, applies also to air-cooled chillers, except for that our efficiency advantage on the air-cooled chiller side is even larger. So you will see here one of our air-cooled chiller plants that has been operating at a resort, so a nice 24-hour operation. And you see during the day, the efficiency increases slightly to about 0.8. During the night, it improves as low as 0.55, even 0.5. Average efficiency with an air-cooled chiller, 0.65 kilowatt per TR. That is quite unheard of for conventional air-cooled chillers. Another example here, a water-cooled chiller plant operating in Indonesia. You see the classic scenario in the morning. This is a building, this was actually a university. You have a chilled water loop that is warm because the chiller plant was turned off during the night. So you have to cool down the chilled water loop. You have to cool down the building, the thermal mass of the building. Once you achieve that, which happens in about 15 to 20 minutes, you have a very stable operation at just about 50% of your chiller capacity. At afternoon hours, here at about 4:30, a lot of people will leave the building. The ambient temperature goes down, the solar radiation is being reduced, and we see improving loads in unison with reduced capacities. Another case study is replacement. This was one exactly at a brewery in Singapore. We had very nice data of the old chiller in red. You see the data points. Very classic confirmation of the efficiency curve for conventional chiller. The more we look into the part load, the worse the efficiency becomes. Look at these efficiencies for the water-cooled chiller. Goes up to 1.6 for part loads, whereas the new smart chiller in green, as projected, the efficiencies improve in the partial loads, overall a 40% efficiency improvement. As the second advantage of oil-free chillers, simply because we don't have any friction, we don't have any oil in the system is much more reliable, has reduced maintenance requirement. And because chillers are very, very heavy-duty machines, this is a very important aspect. Your chiller will run every minute that you open your building, your factory, your chiller will be running. So in many cases, 24/7, 365 a year. A very heavy-duty machine with the according, typically maintenance requirements. However, with our magnetic bearing system, since there is no touch, there is no friction, there is virtually no replacement part on a scheduled basis, meaning there is no consumables at all. Whereas with a conventional chiller, you have to change the oil, you need to do oil checks, you need to change the filters, you have a lot of downtime, you have a lot of costs associated with it, and yet still a high risk of something breaking badly because of the inherent friction of the system. The other advantage that I touched already on is the multi-compressor setup offers you redundancy. Why is redundancy important? Well, think about airplanes. If you fly over the Pacific to America, would you choose a one propeller machine, or would you feel more comfortable in a plane with 4 turbines? I think most agree that we all feel more comfortable in a plane with several turbines, because we know even if one fails, I have the remaining turbines to fly in. It is exactly the same scenario with the chillers. The conventional chiller has one compressor. If that compressor fails, the whole chiller is out. With the smart chiller, if one compressor fails, well, we still have the remaining compressors and we've only lost a little bit of capacity. We actually have isolation valves on all the compressor refrigerant pipes, and we can even change the compressor while the machine is still running, which is another significant maintenance advantage for critical operations. This characteristics really allows you to reduce the number of chillers that you install. So we are probably the only chiller manufacturer who goes to a client and asks you to buy less chillers. Please consider buying less chillers because you don't need so many chillers. A, our chillers are more reliable. B, they have more compressors. C, you don't need a baby chiller because our chiller can unload in very much into partial loads, low loads. And as such, you will need less chillers. Every chiller that you save saves you a lot of money because it saves you what we call auxiliary equipment. Every chiller that is there, as small as it is, it needs pumps, it needs a cooling tower, it needs the accessories of the installation like valves and so forth. Very important electrical capacity that you need to add, including the expensive cabling, space, and the yearly maintenance cost. So reducing the number of chillers is the number one strategy that we can apply to help you reduce the capex of the chiller plant and in the long run, yet still be more efficient. I'm going to skip here a few slides because I see we have only 10 minutes left. Here a very visual overview of the advantage of having oil-free. You see on the left a typical schematic for a oil-based chiller, in this case a screw chiller. You see oil separators, oil heaters, oil coolers, oil piping cycle, electrical supply to the heater, and so forth, oil pumps. So a lot of equipment that is required only for the oil, which is simply for lubrication, right? For nothing else but lubrication. With our magnetic bearing chiller, we simply don't have this oil cycle. So the machine simply has less parts, becomes a more simple machine, and as such, more reliable because the basic rule of Murphy is the more things you have that can go wrong, the more things will go wrong. And such simplicity does provide per se already reliability. The oil cycle in a conventional chiller is really quite a complex undertaking. With smart, you don't need to undertake all these maintenance steps on the chiller. In the field, we have seen typically a 70% reduction of maintenance issues, and as such cost reductions, not to mention the associated downtimes. The cost of lubricant is also very high because typically you have to buy it from the supply of the chillers, so a significant advantage there. Ease of service in small plant rooms can be quite an issue. You see how small our compressors are. You see here one of our technicians working on one open compressor. It is only 120 kilos. It is so light that actually 4 men can lift it anywhere. It has no oil inside, so it can fly. It is allowed to be airlifted, which means I can get a compressor very, very quickly anywhere. Whereas conventional compressors are very heavy, several tons. They cannot be airlifted. It is really complex to take them out, to maintain them simply because of their sheer size and weight. Another case study in Alexander Point in Singapore, where the client actually agreed to reduce the number of chillers from originally 4 chillers to just 2 smart chillers. So they indeed took up that smart chiller plant strategy. The incremental payback on this project, 14 months. In 14 months, break-even was reached. Very, very significant financial benefits from this strategy. Last aspect I want to mention that is related to oil in the system that a lot of people aren't aware of. Lubricant in a conventional chiller will contaminate your refrigerant. Why? Because the lubricant sits in the compressor and that is where the refrigerant goes through. And every time the refrigerant goes through the system, it will take tiny amounts of oil, which then will contaminate the outside of your tubes and create a slick film around it, which reduces the heat efficiency capacity of those tubes. And because it sits on the outside of the tubes, you cannot simply clean those. Asher's study found that your average chiller had lost 22% efficiency due to this oil issue. With a smart chiller, you simply don't have this issue ever. Whereas with a conventional chiller, you buy a machine that you know will become less efficient over time, and the lifetime is supposed to be 20 years. Why would you buy a machine that you know is becoming less efficient, that you know you have to keep for 20 years, if you can have an oil-free machine that won't suffer from this oil contamination? So this advantage alone of not suffering from oil efficiency loss is already paying for the smart chiller slightly higher capex. A couple of other advantages: we have built-in soft starters, we have fast restart options that can restart the chiller as quickly as 20 seconds. There's absolutely no vibration because there is no friction. We typically have the lowest noise of any chillers, and very, very important, if you're building a new building, our weight is always significantly lower, and the size of our chiller is typically lower than conventional ones. Now, I see we have 5 minutes left, so I will jump through these slides very quickly to give you a little introduction to our CPEC system, which is our chiller plant optimization controller. Very, very important aspect to understand. A simple example: even if you buy a race car, say you buy a Lamborghini, top of the line, you put an inexperienced driver on, you will simply not win any race, right? It's very similar with the chiller plant. You can buy the smart chiller. If you don't have a optimization controller, the chiller system is a complex system with several chillers having a multiple of pumps, cooling towers, and so forth. Now, who knows how to run this equipment in harmony with each other at every single minute of operation? No one. The human operator cannot do this quickly enough. So what you need is plant automation, and this plant automation in an ideal case is an optimization, which means that it has been programmed with the characteristics of each equipment to then calculate at every single second of operation the most optimal way to run each component of the chiller plant in harmony with the others. The effect: you can save as much as 50% additionally on your energy cost. Your chiller plant will really truly only reach the specified top efficiencies of the equipment if you have such a integrated chiller plant controller. Only with such equipment can we really guarantee the best efficiencies, such as 0.55 kilowatt per TR for water cooled chiller plant. So a very, very big impact of CPEX. It is more than a sequence controller. A sequence controller will not get you there. I have just a few minutes left, so I'm skipping quite a few slides to give you a last summary of the advantage of smart chillers. Smart chillers are 100% free. There's no oil-related maintenance cost. There's no oil-related equipment at all that can break. We have no frictional losses, as such the highest efficiency. We have a very long service life because there's no friction, no startup currents, no noise, no vibration, and most importantly, multiple compressors, which give you the efficiency where you need it, where you truly need it, which give you the ability to reduce the number of chillers that you need to purchase, and which give you the redundancy to feel safe that even if one compressor should fail, it will not impact your operation, because chillers are critical pieces of equipment. Now we have reached pretty much the end of the presentation. I'm just skipping through a few case studies and references. Here I will show you our Indonesian references. We have Green Mark Platinum building, Menara Astra. We have data centers we have installed at factories, we've installed at hotels, at shopping malls. So you can see that our chillers are not just for a specific sector, but across the board, every industry does find advantages for smart chillers. Our largest so far air-cooled chiller plant has been starting operation beginning of this year in Pontianak with almost 1,500 TR. So it is very likely the largest magnetic bearing air-cooled chiller plant in Indonesia at this stage. We see a lot more interest in these. I invite you to join us for the virtual plant tour that we are hosting in just a few minutes from now, which will show you our air-cooled chiller plant at the L'Oreal industrial facility. The global setup of Smart is with 6 factories around the world at this stage. Typically, our customers in Indonesia choose the Australian factory or the Chinese factory. Our regional Asia office is in Singapore, where we also have a large spare parts warehouse. And obviously, we have skilled technicians and according tools in Indonesia. This is what it looks like in a chiller factory. This is in 2021, we have brought to market the largest chiller in the world on an oil-free magnetic bearing compressor basis, now up to 3,600 PR. All right, this is it from my side. Thank you for your attention. I hope you found it informative. Please feel free to contact us should you have any more questions. And we hope to see you in the other meeting room for the virtual plant tour.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mark, for your great presentation. And now we will start to next session. But before we start the next session, I would like to tell the guidance for following the session business meeting. And for the company, please rename your Zoom ID into this following format. Is company name _ your first name. And please use your official company virtual background during the session. And we have no moderator for this session, but please let us know how we can assist you. Okay, for next session is Hitachi ABB Power Grids. Is it in the room? Hitachi ABB Power Grids. Okay. Maybe Hitachi ABB Power Grids, it's not ready, but maybe we will waiting for the presentation.
Halo Bu.
Iya Pak, terdengar.
Okay. Ini sudah lihat Bu untuk saya punya screen.
Iya, mungkin boleh di full screen Pak.
Oke, Bu, kita mulai aja ya.
Ya, silakan Pak.
Oke, dari presentasi ini saya ingin membawakan, perkenalkan nama saya Aditya Pradana, saya sebagai front end sales untuk segmen transportasi. Di sini saya ingin membawakan untuk mengenai 3D motion, tapi sebelum itu kita mau menjelaskan tentang company kita yang mungkin dari sebelumnya dari ABB jadi ABB Hitachi sekarang. Kemudian ini hal-hal yang ingin saya highlight di sini. Oke, nah ini sejarahnya dari ABB, bagaimana dari Asia BBC, kemudian menjadi ABB, kemudian kita di tahun 2019 dan 2020 itu kita berubah sekarang entity kita diakuisisi oleh Hitachi, jadi sekarang itu adalah kita Hitachi ABB Bu. Oke, kemudian ada 4 core bisnis kita di Hitachi ABB tersebut ada grid automation, grid integration, high voltage dan transformers. Kita juga di sini ada 115 factory, headquarter kita di Zurich, Switzerland. Ini bisnis yang kita bisa bawa dari grid integration, yaitu dari power consulting, kita juga ada high voltage, HVDC, ada grid and power solution, semiconductor and circuit solution. Dan juga untuk market kita bisa ada untuk di renewable, ada T&D, industry, transport, and infrastructure. Oke, untuk di sini kita untuk fokus untuk energi and mobility. Jadi ini untuk EV charging system untuk di kedepannya, karena kita tahu sekarang untuk mengurangi dari gas efek rumah. Oke, ini full grid to plug charging infrastructure. Jadi kita untuk dua-duanya mulai dari kita dari source-nya itu dari generation-nya, terus ke connectivity-nya sampai untuk convert-nya untuk di pemakaian untuk di e-bus atau di MRT. Oke, kita bisa mensupport customer untuk setiapnya, mulai dari bus manufacturer-nya, utility, transport operator, dan construction company. Ini portfolio untuk public and commercial transport ya. Ada grid motion fleet itu untuk large EV charging. Juga kemudian ada grid motion to flash itu yang pakai pantograf sistemnya, chargingnya fast charging. Kemudian juga kita ada grid emotion rail itu untuk seperti MRT, LRT seperti itu. Oke, berikut ini ada charging strategi untuk tiap-tiap bus grid operator. Ini yang menjadi perbedaan. Di sini ada 3 tipe: overnight charging at depot, opportunity charging at terminal, dan fast charging at some stop. Nah, perbedaannya apa? Kalau untuk yang di overnight charging itu kita mencharge si bus tersebut atau vehicle tersebut di depo. Cuman hal tersebut ini punya kekurangan karena durability-nya atau sistem baterainya itu menurun. Jadi dia harus di-charge sampai full untuk digunakan lagi. Kemudian di sini juga ada opportunity charging, jadi di tiap terminal tersebut dia ada charging-nya untuk di ujungnya. Itu fungsinya adalah ketika dia baru mau jalan, dia charge full, kemudian setelah durasi pemakaian tentu baterai itu akan habis. Di terminal di ujungnya juga dia ada charging-nya kembali, jadi untuk di-charge lagi untuk digunakan kembali. Nah, berikutnya ini ada untuk yang tipe fast charging. Fast charging adalah di tiap stop tersebut diberikan untuk seperti fast charging. Jadi dia ada waktu untuk bus itu tersebut di-charge kembali, kemudian bisa dijalan kembali. Nah, di sini juga ada masing-masing yang kelebihan dan kekurangan dan fungsi-fungsinya. Seperti misalnya kalau yang opportunity, tipikalnya ini untuk bus yang dengan capability 12 sampai 18 meter. Capability untuk pakai menggunakan pantograf juga bisa, ya, seperti itu. Ini untuk yang fleet tipe opportunity charging dan overnight charging. Jadi kalau yang opportunity charging itu dia ada di masing-masing terminal itu untuk di charge. Nah, kalau di tipenya yang di depo seperti yang tadi saya jelaskan tersebut, dia overnight itu berarti dia pada saat sebelum digunakan, pada saat dia di charge semalaman, pada saat bus itu idle, tidak ada operasional. Jadi pada malam harinya itu di charge sampai full. Jadi ini sebenarnya bisa dikombin untuk yang overnight charging dan opportunity charging. Jadi untuk mengatasi karena itu terkait dengan jarak, mungkin kalau yang di Indonesia jarak untuk setiap koridor itu jaraknya cukup panjang, jadi dia mungkin butuh ditambahkan untuk di ujung terminalnya itu dengan opportunity charging selain dia overnight charging. Kemudian aja ya, ini sebenarnya base dari DC teknologi untuk ya, jadi untuk reduce footprint, reduce cabling, reduce interoperability, connection to existing DC grid. Nah, ini 1 megawatt depot with grid immersion fleet. Jadi kita lihat dari AC distribution grid tuh kemudian itu untuk yang ke grid immersion fleet. Nah, jadi itu berbeda kalau yang dari AC kita juga ada low voltage AC masuk ke charging. Nah, kalau untuk yang emotion tersebut dia rectifier, jadi dari DC itu langsung ke charging points-nya tersebut. Grid emotion fleet start 1 megawatt depot power. Ini kita menunjukkan jadi dalam satu ini ada transformers-nya, kita juga kemudian juga ada charging sistemnya untuk sampai dengan kapasitas 1 megawatt rectifier untuk 10 kilowatt charger mungkin bisa dipakai untuk 10 bus atau 10 kendaraan. Kemudian di sini juga ada LV switchgear atau LV switchgear gitu, untuk ininya. Kemudian dan substation ada SCADA dan relay protection dan auxiliary sistemnya. Ini kita jadikan dalam satu solution untuk grid immersion fleet dengan 100 kilowatt chargers. Jadi dia bisa dipakai bersama untuk 10 kendaraan. Di sini kita lihat untuk footprintnya, dia bisa mereduce sampai dengan 60% untuk kita tahu lah pada di saat bus ini tidak digunakan, memang itu bus itu dia diparkirkan gitu, dan 60% dari space-nya tersebut itu kita bisa fungsikan karena kita tahu lahan itu untuk di daerah perkotaan itu cukup pricey, jadinya dibutuhkan footprint yang lebih ringkas. Ini fleet for high power charging, ini untuk yang pantograf, sistemnya pantograf. Jadi ini yang untuk untuk fast charging, dia sistemnya dia lewat itu yang dia bisa sampai dengan kapasitas 600 kilowatt dan juga bisa juga satu lagi untuk yang plug charging itu sampai dengan 150 kilowatt. Dan ini dia di-combine dalam satu kontainer 20 feet. Di situ udah ada including 4,6 ampere grid connection-nya, 150 kW charging model dan energy management system EMS-nya. Ini ilustrasi tentang depot charging infrastructure untuk 100 bus. Kira-kira ini seperti ini untuk infrastrukturnya. Jadi di situ juga ada 50 charging point, kemudian di situ juga ada 40 feet container yang di dalamnya ada equipment kebutuhan untuk charging, juga ada image digital board itu untuk SCADA untuk monitoring sistem tersebut. Jadi dia itu juga bisa di-combine di digital enterprise fleet management. Oke, kita masuk ke produk katalog untuk di sininya. Nah, di sini ada tipikal diagram untuk charging tersebut mulai dari 1,2 MVA depo. Jadi kita lihat itu single line-nya seperti apa. Kemudian juga ada yang dia bisa 2 kali 2 MVA depo, itu juga double atau double plug. Sama dia ada yang tipenya yang pantograf, itu yang di 2 kali 3 atau pantograf. Nah, di sini yang untuk pantograf itu adalah dia menggunakan ya seperti watt charging, jadi dia tidak terkonek langsung. Jadi dia butuh waktu yang sangat singkat, tapi ya memang kalau pantograf tersebut butuh di setiap dia fast charging, tapi dia tidak bisa untuk sampai full. Jadi dia hanya menjaga untuk dia tetap bisa beroperasi selama di koridor. Ini untuk converter transformers, ya, kita pakai yang tipenya yang dry. Kemudian kita ada rectifier ini untuk masing-masing. Di sini juga ada kapasitas mulai dari 1 sampai 3 megawatt. Ini tipe-tipenya, spesifikasi dari transformer dan rectifier. Kemudian di sini adalah DC-DC charging cabinet. Jadi ada kita kabinet yang charge-nya bisa sampai 100 kW, kabinet yang sampai 105 kW. Jadi charger quantity ya 100 kW ada yang up to 5 sampai charge quantity yang 4. Ada yang kabinet up to 150 kW. Ada yang opportunity charging. Di situ ada masing-masing dari powernya. Dan di sini juga kalau kita lihat juga dimensinya itu juga nggak terlalu besar ya untuk ya charging kabinet tersebut. Nah, berikut ini konfigurasi for different power rating and fleet size. Jadi contoh yang pertama ini kita ada 1,2 mega MVA converter transformers, 1 mega rectifier dengan 10 sampai dengan 100 kW charger. Nah, ini konfigurasinya, kira-kira konfigurasi di kabinetnya ini seperti ini. Dia bergantung size, memang semakin besar size-nya tersebut dan kapasitinya juga dia semakin besar. Dan di sini diversity faktornya di contoh yang ketiga dan keempat itu diversity faktornya dari 0,8. Ini untuk interface-nya yang connection-nya dari charging ke kendaraan tersebut. Di sini ada yang single plug, ya, dia untuk terkoneksi sama satu kendaraan. Jadi di sini juga ada yang double plug, ada pantau up dan pantau down. Jadi dia perbedaannya adalah untuk yang dari atas dan dari bawah. Ini dan kemudian ada cable system. Ini untuk di depot, workshop. Jadi dia sistemnya dari atas. Kemudian scalable vertical integrated digital ecosystem. Jadi dari charger, network, solar, base, baterai energy storage system, ada EV, itu bisa kita kontrol, ada sistem kontrolnya, masuk ke IMS dan SCADA, kemudian dia masuk ke cloud, dan kita bisa monitoring, dan fungsinya apa? Kita bisa menganalisa dan mengoptimasi, dan juga kita bisa untuk predictable untuk services yang akan dilakukan. Jadi dari masing-masing equipment tersebut itu kita bisa lakukan analisa secara online dan kita bisa mengoptimize dan fungsinya terlebih untuk kita untuk services yang predictable. Ini yang contohnya dengan fleet energy management dan SCADA untuk dia lainnya seperti ini untuk simulasinya. Jadi kita bisa mengoptimasi untuk fungsi SCADA untuk mengoptimasi. Kita juga tahu forecast ke depannya mungkin kita butuh chargingnya atau seperti apa, ke pertambahan daya. Kemudian kita ini juga bisa untuk reporting dan juga connected SCADA untuk third party. Dan di sini fungsi fleet dengan base baterai energi storage system, untuk yang depot yang kecil. Jadi dia modular storage up to 500 kW power. Jadi dia dari converter, ada controller juga dengan ada baterai, fungsinya juga sama untuk membantu mencharging bus-bus tersebut. Jadi dengan base itu dia bisa menyimpan energi. Berikutnya ini fleet with stationary base untuk large depot. Yang kalau yang tadi dia small, kalau yang tadi ini small untuk kapasitas kecil, dia up to 500 kW power. Kalau ini start dari 1 MW. Jadi dia hanya perbedaannya untuk skala dari depo tersebut. Service solution kita SLA-nya. Jadi kita untuk ada set management, on-site execution, ada juga kita juga untuk service expert support. Jadi kita untuk engineering custom solution kita juga bisa untuk tersebut. Kita juga untuk spare part management, OEM management, dan upgrade and retrofit. Jadi ini yang services yang SLA yang bisa kita berikan. Mungkin dari sini ada yang ingin ditanyakan.
Oke, baik. Untuk para partisipan yang ingin bertanya, boleh langsung tulis aja di chat box-nya. Nanti saya akan bacakan pertanyaannya dan akan dijawab oleh Bapak Aditya ya, Pak.
Ya.
Oke. Untuk presentasinya Bapak sudah selesai ya, Pak ya?
Oke, sudah. Ya.
Next.
Oke, sepertinya tidak ada yang bertanya, Pak. Mungkin kita kasih waktu sekitar 2 menit untuk partisipan. Jika ingin bertanya, boleh langsung tulis di chat box. Baik, Pak Adit, sepertinya tidak ada yang berbicara karena tidak ada yang bertanya, mohon maaf. Mungkin kita bisa lanjut ke sesi selanjutnya ya, Pak, ya, untuk presentasi yang lain. Terima kasih banyak, Pak Adit, atas presentasinya.
Sama, terima kasih.
Baik, untuk presentasi selanjutnya, yaitu dari Energi Manajemen Indonesia, yaitu Bapak Bramantio. Bapak Bramantio, apakah mendengar saya?
Halo, selamat siang.
Selamat siang, Pak Bramantio. Sudah siap untuk presentasinya ya, Pak?
Ya.
Oke, Bapak bisa langsung share screen aja untuk presentasinya. Waktunya 30 menit dimulai dari sekarang ya, Pak.
Oke, jadi terima kasih. atas kesempatannya. Perkenalkan, nama saya Bramantio dari PT Energi Manajemen Indonesia. Presentasi akan saya bagi menjadi dua bagian. Yang pertama adalah saya akan memutarkan video company profile dari PT MI, lalu akan dilanjutkan dengan pendetilan pengalaman dari PT Energi Manajemen Indonesia. Oke, izin saya putarkan.
Energy Management Indonesia adalah sebuah BUMN yang secara eksklusif berperan sebagai agen konservasi energi dan pengembangan energi baru dan terbarukan. Selama 34 tahun, kami telah berkarya dalam melaksanakan amanat pemerintah guna mendukung tercapainya Sustainable Development Goals dalam penyediaan dan pengelolaan energi berwawasan lingkungan serta berdampak positif pada ekonomi dan sosial. Dengan visi untuk menjadi mitra strategis pemerintah dalam mewujudkan pembangunan Indonesia yang berkelanjutan, EMI memiliki misi untuk menyediakan jasa layanan audit, jasa konsultansi, hingga implementasi program konservasi energi dan lingkungan. Selain itu, EMI juga melakukan pengelolaan dan pemanfaatan energi yang berwawasan lingkungan. EMI memiliki 3 lini bisnis utama, yaitu EEC Engineering and Implementation, EEC Power Solutions, dan New and Renewable Energy Utilization and Development. Pada lini bisnis EEC Engineering and Implementation, kami menyediakan berbagai layanan comprehensive services seperti studi teknis dan engineering, serta pelaksanaan EPC yang dilanjutkan dengan operasi dan pemeliharaan untuk proyek-proyek berbasis energy savings dan environmental protection. Untuk jasa Power Solutions, EMI berfokus pada peningkatan efisiensi energi pengguna akhir, mulai dari audit energi dan studi kelayakan, hingga pelaksanaan proyek-proyek hemat energi pada Green Economy Estate, seperti penerangan jalan umum dan Green Building atau Green Industrial Estate. Saat ini, EMI juga tengah mengembangkan pemanfaatan energi baru dan terbarukan, khususnya biomasa dan bioenergi terdesentralisasi yang melibatkan masyarakat dan sumber daya setempat. Sebagai BUMN, EMI adalah mitra strategis pemerintah yang berfokus dalam program bidang konservasi energi dan lingkungan secara efisien, rasional, dan berwawasan lingkungan. Selain itu, EMI memiliki jaringan kerja yang baik dengan seluruh pemangku kepentingan di bidang energi, memiliki pengalaman dan penguasaan bidang tugas yang kuat, dan mampu bergerak lebih lincah dan mudah beradaptasi dalam situasi apapun. Dalam melaksanakan pekerjaan, EMI telah memiliki berbagai mitra strategis, baik dari dalam maupun luar negeri, untuk memberikan kualitas terbaik kepada seluruh klien kami. Hingga kini, kami telah dipercaya untuk melayani klien dari berbagai latar belakang, baik BUMN, perusahaan swasta, pemerintah daerah, dan pemerintah pusat, serta turut berkontribusi pada proyek-proyek strategis nasional di Indonesia. Energy Management Indonesia, Energy from Efficiency.
Sekian merupakan video company profile. Akan kami lanjutkan dengan pengalaman dari PT Energi Manajemen Indonesia. Jadi outline dari presentasi yang akan saya bawakan adalah ringkasan dari pengalaman EMI, deskripsi dari beberapa portofolio di proyek di EMI, dan bisa dilanjutkan dengan diskusi atau sesi tanya-jawab. Sebagai ringkasan, EMI telah melakukan beberapa jenis proyek yang umumnya berhubungan dengan energy and environmental conservation, mulai dari energy audit, opportunity study, technical dan feasibility study untuk proyek-proyek EC, lalu proyek-proyek engineering dan implementation untuk proyek-proyek EC, dan operation, maintenance, and knowledge transfer. Beberapa contoh proyek diantaranya adalah verifikasi dan evaluasi target konsumsi energi untuk 14 pabrik pupuk di pupuk Indonesia, di mana deliverable-nya atau lingkupnya adalah mengevaluasi target konsumsi energi pabrik pupuk menggunakan analisis statistik dan analisis teknis dari data konsumsi energi selama 3 tahun ke belakang, beserta data maintenance dan data kondisi pabrik yang paling mutakhir, dan memberikan rekomendasi untuk peningkatan efisiensi energi. Lalu contoh dari beberapa energi audit yang pernah kami lakukan adalah di Labuan, di mana energy audit dilakukan pada level 2, yaitu di mana level 1 adalah paling sederhana dan level 3 paling rinci, dan energy audit di PLTU Labuan dilakukan dengan lingkup seluruh thermal energy system, mulai dari boiler hingga ke turbin. Energy audit ini dilakukan dengan teknik data reconciliation, sehingga hasil yang didapatkan dianalisis menggunakan data yang telah divalidasi secara iteratif menggunakan proses simulator. Untuk technical dan feasibility study, portofolio kami ada di gas processing facility Jambaran Tiung Biru, lakukan energy conservation study, di mana lingkupnya adalah opportunity study untuk waste heat recovery, reklamasi air bersih dari air limbah, serta evaluasi pembangkitan energi listrik untuk GPF Jambaran Tiung Biru. Lingkup itu sendiri terdiri dari lingkup teknis, mulai dari conceptual design, heat and mass balance, equipment sizing, hingga cost estimation, dan simple financial model. Hasil dari studi ini kemudian dilanjutkan, salah satunya adalah dengan proyek engineering implementation, bleed water treatment package, yang merupakan proses wastewater treatment dari GPF Jambaran Tiung Biru. Wastewater treatment ini didesain oleh PT MI untuk memenuhi baku mutu air limbah, dan juga memanfaatkan excess steam dan menghemat energi listrik, sehingga energi penalti dari wastewater treatment ini lebih rendah dibandingkan desain lainnya. Secara umum pun, proses-proses ini terdiri dari reaksi, separasi secara mekanikal, dan separasi secara termal, sehingga cocok untuk atau berpotensial untuk dilakukan zero liquid discharge terhadap proses tersebut. Lingkup yang dikerjakan oleh EMI pada bleed water treatment package ini mulai dari basic engineering design, detail engineering, procurement services, hingga supervisi untuk commissioning dan startup. Dalam melakukan proyek ini, EMI bekerja sama dengan berbagai pihak dari dalam maupun luar negeri, mulai dari Teknik Kimia ITB, Santi Group, Sumatek, licensor wastewater treatment seperti Alfa Laval, manufakturer peralatan-peralatan proses seperti Sundyne, Nets, dan Morsel, dan lainnya. Ini adalah beberapa contoh hasil pekerjaan kami. Ini adalah 3D dari gambaran bleed water treatment package di Jambalan Tiung Biru dengan beberapa dokumen engineering yang telah kami deliver ke PT Rekayasa Industri sebagai klien kami. PT Rekayasa Industri sendiri berperan sebagai main kontraktor dalam pembangunan gas processing facility Jambalan Tiung Biru dengan owner PT Pertamina EP Cepu. Ini beberapa peralatan yang sudah disuplai, baik yang sudah diinspeksi di workshop hingga sudah ada yang dipasang di lapangan. Lalu kami juga melakukan project management services untuk pabrik treated distillate aromatic extract atau TDAE di Batam dari PT Energo RPO Internasional. TDAE ini adalah bahan untuk ban yang lebih ramah lingkungan karena sudah diolah untuk menyingkirkan kandungan karsinogenik dan kandungan toksik. Pabrik yang dibangun di Batam ini merupakan pabrik terbesar di Asia Tenggara, kalau saya tidak salah, dengan kapasitas total 100.000 ton TDAE per tahun dan nilai investasi sekitar 1,3 triliun rupiah. Lingkup pekerjaan EMI mulai dari procurement services, koordinasi dan supervisi untuk detail engineering, terutama pada area utilitas, construction management services, manajemen dan technical assistance, serta manpower supply untuk commissioning dan startup, termasuk di dalamnya technical troubleshooting services atau engineering troubleshooting services, dan juga menyediakan manpower supply untuk operation dan maintenance selama 1 tahun. Selain itu, EMI juga mengembangkan beberapa industrial package unit seperti sulfur removal unit untuk oil refinery spent caustic dengan sistem EMI Maritime Deep Neutralization Design yang membutuhkan unit yang lebih sedikit dibandingkan wet air oxidation design, sehingga lebih cost efektif. Selain itu, temperatur operasi dan tekanan operasi juga lebih rendah dibandingkan proses WHO, sehingga lebih aman untuk dioperasikan. Dengan desain EMI, saving dari electrical power bisa mencapai 50%, saving dari cooling water bisa mencapai 60%, dan saving kebutuhan panas yang disuplai dari steam bisa dikurangi hingga seluruhnya. Selain untuk oil refinery, kami juga mengembangkan sulfur removal unit untuk geothermal power plants menggunakan catalytic reduction redox unit. Ini untuk mengolah non-condensable gases yang saat ini sudah diatur oleh Permen LHK nomor 15 tahun 2019, di mana H2S keluaran dari PLTP tidak boleh melebihi 30 ppm. Sehingga apabila NCG dari PLTP atau geothermal memiliki H2S, perlu dilakukan treatment. Catalytic redox merupakan proses yang sesuai untuk biotermal karena bisa menghandle flow rate yang relatif lebih rendah dan sulfur yang relatif lebih rendah dan selektif terhadap H2S. Selain itu, tekanan dan temperatur operasi juga lebih rendah sehingga aman untuk dioperasikan. Efisiensi penyingkiran H2S yang cukup tinggi dan umumnya membutuhkan biaya capex yang sedikit atau relatif tidak tinggi. Yang terakhir adalah proyek-proyek pemenuhan SDG yang dilakukan oleh EMI. Salah satu konsepnya adalah reverse osmosis menggunakan tenaga surya atau PV power reverse osmosis water treatment package. Ini sesuai dengan SDG penyediaan air bersih dan penyediaan energi bersih. Selain itu, renewable energy seperti solar energy dan biomasa juga bisa dimanfaatkan untuk aplikasi lain seperti solar drying, PV powered cold storage, dan PV powered irrigation pumping. Ini beberapa contoh proyek-proyek CSR untuk reverse osmosis atau water treatment plant untuk menyediakan air bersih baik di Kepulauan Seribu, di Nusa Penida, di Universitas Sriwijaya, dan di Semarang. Contoh yang di Nusa Penida merupakan PV powered seawater reverse osmosis untuk menyediakan air bersih dari air laut. Pemanfaatan solar energy ini sendiri bisa dikembangkan ke berbagai aplikasi lainnya seperti solar drying yang sudah pernah kami lakukan di Pulau Nusa Penida di Bali, PV powered cold storage atau cold storage menggunakan energi matahari, di mana kami telah berpengalaman dalam membangun cold storage di 2 tempat, yaitu di Brondong dan di Rembang, serta PV powered irrigation pumping. Demikian presentasi dari saya. Silakan apabila ada pertanyaan.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih, Pak Bramantio. Baik, untuk para peserta mungkin yang ingin bertanya. Oke, ini ada satu pertanyaan, Pak, dari Dimas Pramestu. Pertanyaannya adalah, EMI sebagai perusahaan manajemen energi, apakah juga mengerjakan proyek-proyek terkait manajemen energi di gedung atau hanya di industri saja? Silakan, Pak.
Ya, bisa kami sampaikan bahwa kami juga memiliki pengalaman untuk energy audit di gedung. Kami telah melakukan di gedung-gedung pemerintah dan gedung-gedung BUMN seperti PGN, serta kami juga memasang energy monitoring system di gedung tersebut. Yaitu energy monitoring system ini adalah sistem yang bisa memantau penggunaan energi secara real time dan ditampilkan pada sebuah dashboard yang bisa diakses baik melalui browser internet atau web-based maupun melalui aplikasi Android. Dan hasilnya ini nanti bisa digunakan untuk membuat perencanaan energi dari gedung-gedung tersebut. Untuk audit energi di gedung maupun di industri pada dasarnya kami lakukan dengan prosedur yang serupa, yaitu mengevaluasi penggunaan energi secara historis, serta mengevaluasi keadaan penggunaan energi, seperti kalau misalnya di gedung adalah keadaan air conditioning, keadaan prosedur energi di dalam gedung dan semacamnya untuk memberikan rekomendasi penghematan energi seperti apa yang bisa dilakukan oleh pengelola gedung. Demikian Pak Dimas Pramestu, apakah cukup menjawab? Terima kasih.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih, Pak. Dilanjut ada pertanyaan lagi, masih dari Pak Dimas. Dia bertanya seperti, tadi di company profile ada dibilang tentang green building. Apa yang sudah dikerjakan EMI terkait green building tersebut, dan apa-apa saja yang dilakukan ketika melakukan audit energi di gedung? Silakan, Pak.
Ya, seperti yang tadi saya sampaikan, salah satu implementasi dari audit energi tersebut adalah energy monitoring system untuk mendukung green building. Apabila dibutuhkan juga bisa saja dikembangkan menjadi energy control untuk building tersebut, karena energy monitoring system ini memang secara real time dimonitornya. Dan seperti yang sudah saya sampaikan tadi juga, ketika melakukan audit energi di gedung, kami mengevaluasi penggunaan energi secara historis dan mengevaluasi keadaan gedung pada saat itu untuk menilai dan memberikan rekomendasi kira-kira apa-apa saja yang perlu dilakukan untuk melakukan penghematan. Termasuk di dalamnya menentukan baseline dari penggunaan energi di gedung, sehingga pengelola gedung memiliki gambaran penuh seperti apa seharusnya penggunaan energi yang efisien di gedung tersebut dibandingkan dengan penggunaan energi yang tidak efisien. Demikian. Ya, demikian jawaban saya. Semoga bisa di...
Oke, terima kasih Pak Bramantio. Mungkin ada satu pertanyaan lagi ya, karena kita masih ada waktu sekitar 2 menit. Energi monitoring tersebut apakah dibuat dan di-develop sendiri oleh EMI atau ada vendor lain yang bekerja sama dengan EMI? Silakan Pak.
Jadi untuk sistem energy monitoring itu di-develop in-house sendiri oleh EMI. Sedangkan untuk hardware seperti instrumen, server, cabling itu kami lakukan procurement atau pengadaan. Tapi sistemnya sendiri itu di-develop sendiri oleh PT EMI. Demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan. Terima kasih.
Oke, ini pertanyaannya ada satu lagi nih Pak, dari ITS_Sutopo Purnomo. Dia bertanya, apakah PV powered RO masih hybrid dengan listrik PLN atau dengan sumber energi listrik lain, atau pure off grid? Bagaimana pengelolaan energi manajemen untuk RO plant tersebut? Terima kasih.
Siap. Untuk PVRO pada dasarnya bisa dilakukan hybrid maupun dilakukan off-grid. Kami mengutamakan untuk sistem-sistem yang memang off-grid, yang seperti pulau-pulau terluar atau pulau-pulau dengan microgrid atau pulau-pulau dengan yang tidak memiliki akses ke grid PLN. Namun memang tidak menutup kemungkinan bahwa PVRO ini dilakukan secara hybrid sesuai kondisi yang ada di di lapangan, seperti yang di Universitas Sriwijaya kalau saya tidak salah itu juga menggunakan PV namun hybrid dengan PLN. Kalau yang di Nusa Penida, seingat saya off-grid. Mungkin nanti bisa saya cek lagi untuk saya sampaikan, Pak. Demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan. Terima kasih.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih banyak Pak Bramantio. Mungkin semua pertanyaan sudah terjawab ya. Dan sesi untuk
perkenal, saya adalah Pulkit Agarwal, GM Sales, PT Barka Carrier Indonesia. Hari ini saya mau dibahas tentang Carrier dan Toshiba. Carrier adalah inventor of air conditioning. Penemu AC di dunia adalah dari Carrier. Selanjutnya, ini sedikit tentang history Carrier. Mulai dari 1902 kita pertama modern air conditioning di dunia. Kita launch pertama centrifugal compressor dan centrifugal chiller di dunia. Habis itu Willis Carrier, inventor kita, ada di Times 100 most influential people of the century. Selanjutnya kita juga ada joint venture sama Toshiba, dan Toshiba khusus untuk inverter conditioning system. So Toshiba ada inventor of inverter air conditioning. Carrier adalah inventor modern air conditioning. So kedua-dua inventor gabung untuk memberikan solusi yang terbaik ke customer di Indonesia. Sedikit tentang visi dan misi company kita. PT Barka Carrier Indonesia adalah joint venture antara PT Barka Indonesia dan Carrier Corporation dari USA. Visi adalah untuk make Indonesia a better place to live. Dan our mission adalah untuk menjadi first choice of air conditioning solution di Indonesia. Kita ada head office di PRJ, Kemayoran. Dan kita juga ada service and part center di Sunter dan branch Surabaya. Ini perkenal lagi Willis Carrier, inventor of modern air conditioning. Dia solve one of the mankind's elusive challenge by controlling indoor environment with modern air conditioning. Dan juga dari Time Magazine ada 100 most influential people. Ini Toshiba Carrier Corporation joint venture sama Toshiba dan Carrier untuk produk khusus inverter buat Indonesia dan seluruh dunia. Ini Global Alliance dari tahun 1999. Ini produk lineup dari Carrier. Kita punya chiller 19 dB ceramic bearing, paling efficient chiller di dunia dan Indonesia. Kita udah ada beberapa project, nanti saya bahaskan. 19 XR centrifugal chiller sama efficiency, and 23 XRV. 23 XRV punya tri-rotor, patented Foxfire technology. Dan ada AHU, air handling unit, adalah untuk control udara di dalam ruangan, seperti airflow, cooling capacity. Untuk seluruh ruangan yang besar seperti mall, pabrik, pakai air handling unit untuk kontrol udara di dalam ruangan. Next, kita juga ada fan coil unit dan package unit. Ini ada application masing-masing. Kadang-kadang fan coil unit dipakai di data center dan package unit juga dipakai di pabrik untuk airflow yang besar. Kita juga ada residential dan multi-split. VRF sekarang di Indonesia lagi booming banget, variable refrigerant flow dan variable refrigerant volume. Ada produk yang khusus sama VFD hydronic kit. Ini sedikit tentang factory pabrik dari Carrier. Kita punya pabrik original dari Carrier Amerika, Charlotte. Dan habis itu kita ada air cool chiller center di Montreal Factory, France, dan ada China, Malaysia, dan Thailand. Untuk Asia, kita ada Center of Engineering di China. So, sekarang saya mau sedikit bahas tentang 19 dB. Ini adalah ceramic bearing paling efficient chiller di dunia menurut saya, menurut kita. So, ini back-to-back two-stage compressor, PureTech refrigerant. Nanti saya juga bahas tentang PureTech dan refrigerant HFO, dan
intelligent controls. Sebelum kita mulai tentang chiller, saya mau sedikit diskusi dan bahas tentang beban listrik. Untuk company kita, penting banget untuk kita bisa membantu building untuk turun beban listrik. So kalau kita lihat seluruh gedung, paling besar beban untuk listrik adalah dari AC, dari chiller. Dan juga ada almost 45% dari chiller. Air side, AHU adalah 15%. So kalau kita gabung chiller sama air side, almost 60% beban dari HVAC. So ini yang kenapa HVAC penting, 60% beban biaya setiap dari operation adalah tentang HVAC. Dan juga ada 27% dari lighting dan yang low energy consumption. Jadinya kenapa hari ini saya mau bahas tentang chiller 19 dB ceramic bearing. Soalnya menurut saya ini bisa membantu untuk turun listrik, cost, biaya listrik ke semua gedung. Ini juga sedikit tentang breakup untuk chiller plant. So chiller plant adalah chiller, 65% beban dari chiller sendiri, 30% dari pump, 5% dari cooling tower. Ini penting supaya kita bisa highlight that chiller paling besar beban buat chiller plantnya. So, sekarang saya sedikit bahas tentang tentang ceramic bearing. Ceramic bearing back-to-back two-stage compressor ini 19 dB. So, ini ada first stage impeller, optimized IGVs, HSDD motor, ceramic bearing, and two-stage impeller. So, buat carrier, reliability dan efficiency paling penting. Untuk ini, kita desain yang baru, chiller, juga ada opsi VFD, dan juga ada back-to-back stage compressor untuk reliability. Dan core technology adalah apa? Core technology adalah ceramic bearing. So, ceramic bearing itu enable, itu menjadi chiller, menjadi oil free. So refrigerant lubricated bearing system. Ini lebih kuat, lebih reliable, then no risk of oil leakage. No risk of oil leakage dan juga improved heat transfer. Jadinya ini ceramic bearing adalah paling efficient chiller technology di dunia dari carrier. Dan saya juga mau sedikit bahas tentang refrigerant dan falling film evaporator. Kenapa falling film evaporator in low pressure system lebih efficient? Why better heat transfer? Kenapa? Soalnya kalau ada falling film, artinya refrigerant dari atas ke bawah. Untuk ini ada easy escape for vapor bubble dan no submerge effect. Dan unique structure minimize air loss. So ini tiga reason kenapa kita pilih falling film untuk better heat transfer efficiency. Dan kedua, refrigerant R123ZE. Ini refrigerant global warming potential di dalam satu. Means ini efficient, refrigerant lebih efficient dan low toxicity and gak punya impact untuk environment, untuk greenhouse global warming. So, ini adalah 123ZEE, refrigerant dari carrier. Ini saya juga tempel beberapa selection dan loading profile untuk 19 dB versus conventional chiller. Kita bisa lihat configuration, cooler, condenser, dan juga ada VFD mounted. Then size. So ini kita bisa lihat that semua selection dari carrier adalah dari AHRI standard certified. Ini kenapa penting? Soalnya ini AHRI certified adalah authority yang independent untuk verify performance chiller selection kita. Dan untuk di dunia digital kita punya smart pick 5 controls. So pick 5 ada connection Modbus, backnet, loan work, dan juga ada capability untuk internet, bisa di remote access. So kita bisa lihat leaving dan entering temperature dari remote. So ini touch panel, so pick 5 control is the latest. Dan kenapa ini chiller most effective buat data center? Adalah 30 second swift restart. Kadang-kadang kita lihat ada listrik, power shutdown. Di dalam 30 second, chiller bisa di restart. Dan kalau di dalam kita lihat, bisa almost 95 seconds, bisa chiller loading sampai 80%. So, kalau kita lihat di dalam 2 menit, chiller bisa running back to 80%. Ini efektif banget buat data center pabrik. Dan efisiensi. Yang sebelumnya saya jelasin tentang kenapa efisiensi penting. And efisiensi penting karena 65% beban biaya listrik dari chiller. Dan 19 dB ada solusi dari Advantage, ada carrier iView platform, ada chiller plant optimization untuk bisa hemat listrik. Next, saya mau sedikit bahas tentang project reference. So ini project reference kenapa penting? Soalnya kita lihat banyak customer kita pilih ada repeat order. Kalau kita lihat Pondok Indah, ada 19 dB, ada AHU, dan dia repeat lagi. Exhibitors World Surabaya, ada 23 XRV, tri-rotor compressor, habis itu 19 XR, habis itu 30 XV. Kita lihat Toyota, kita lihat Binus University. Semua customer adalah repeat customer buat carrier. Untuk ini artinya adalah apa? Artinya customer udah satisfied sama service kita, produk reliable, dan produknya membantu untuk hemat listrik. Kita juga ada yang baru project di Podomolo City, Delhi, Medan. Ini efisiensi, chiller plant efisiensi di dalam 0,6. Ini menurut saya efisiensinya strong banget. Dan kita juga ada Southgate, kita juga punya produk, kita juga ada Living World, Alam Sutra, Exhibitors World Surabaya, ada 4 unit 19 dB, dan Pondok Indah Office. Ini semua project. Kalau kita lihat dari carrier, kita gak cuma supply, tapi kita juga membantu untuk supervisi instalasi dan commissioning juga tanggung jawab oleh Barca Carrier Indonesia. Beberapa project kita juga ada untuk VRF. Untuk VRF kita ada Toshiba. Toshiba ada penemu inverter AC di dunia, so bisa invent inverter air conditioning. Kita lihat project seperti Distrik 8, Kensington, Living World, Jababeka, Taman Anggrek, Alpha Headquarter, Tunjungan Plaza Surabaya. Ini beberapa customer, repeat customer buat kita juga. Sedayu City Apartment, Casa Domain di Sudirman, Exhibitors World Surabaya, Kensington Office juga lagi tambah. So ini semua project adalah buat kita loyal customer, kita membantu supply, design, and execute dari tim kita. Ini kira-kira presentasi dari saya. Saya buka beberapa waktu untuk bisa tanya, jawab, dan kita bisa connect sama customer juga.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Pak atas presentasinya yang sangat luar biasa. Mungkin kita akan menunggu pertanyaan dari para peserta ya Pak ya. Untuk para peserta dipersilakan untuk memberikan pertanyaannya, boleh langsung tulis di chat box dengan format nama dan juga pertanyaannya. Pak, mungkin ini sambil menunggu peserta bertanya, mungkin ada yang ingin presentasikan kembali atau disampaikan lagi, ada yang kurang atau dipersilahkan saja. Mungkin ada yang ingin disampaikan lagi, Pak?
Ya, ini cuman dari saya adalah terima kasih banyak. Kalau untuk ABAC perlu design build, kita juga ada beberapa software untuk building load analysis. Kita juga ada service center dan kita open banget untuk diskusi tentang masalah energi. So kalau di depan kita bisa diskusi dan butuh dan bisa kita juga ada Instagram, LinkedIn, dan dari engineer career kita buka banget untuk kerja bareng.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Pak. Mungkin untuk sesi ini kita sudahi ya Pak. Terima kasih banyak untuk presentasinya. Dan nanti kita akan bertemu lagi untuk para peserta di sesi selanjutnya. Terima kasih banyak Pak.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, can someone confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Great. Okay. Thank you for having me today. And my name is Simon Westerlund. I work for the Swedish company Baseload Capital. And I'm very honored to be here today and being part of the IEEE program. At Baseload, I work as an investment manager. So my job is to look for new business opportunities, and I focus on Asia. So I'm very excited to be part of this program and looking closer to at the Indonesian market. It's a very exciting market for us. And unfortunately, we couldn't visit in person today, but as soon as the pandemic is over, I'm planning to come over. So first, let me talk about baseload and the problems that we see in the world today. So as we all know, we are facing a great challenge with the global warming. And there are a lot of lights in the future. We can see that there are new technologies coming up. There's been a boom in wind and solar the past couple of years, and those technologies are great. We've seen some major improvements on the energy efficiency side. But what we also believe can be part of the future is geothermal power. And the good thing with geothermal is that it's a base load, so it can be a great complement to the more intermittent power sources such as wind and solar. And if we look back at the past 50 years, all of the geothermal or the majority of the geothermal projects has been focusing on high temperatures. So that is above 200 degrees. What we at Baseload has aimed to do is that we believe that there is great potential in low temperatures. So that is, between 100 and 150 degrees. There has been great improvements in technology. There's been improvements in drilling and how you do project management and operations. So what we at Baseload do is that we want to capitalize on this opportunity and move into low temperature geothermal. Just to sort of give you all a picture of what we believe in. So this is our vision for the future. We dream of a planet in balance with resilient societies that run on renewable energy. So that's our vision, and we have set out a very long-term ambitious goal, and that is to lower global carbon emissions with 1% before 2050. So that's a very difficult goal, but we are working very hard every day to try to achieve that. So if we look at geothermal energy, as I mentioned before, previously high temperature projects has been very limited to certain areas of the world. But if you look at lower temperatures, it's more available and can be found in several countries, not only in the traditional Ring of Fire, which in Indonesia is. But another thing with low temperature is that it can also be used to increase the efficiency of high temperature power plants, such as you have in Indonesia. And just to give you a quick overview of where Baseload are operating. So we have two businesses that we're focusing on. One is that we invest into, provide early stage capital, it could be equity or debt, into projects, and that we do from our headquarters in Stockholm, Sweden. And that can be investments into projects by in our partners. It can be developing companies in many parts of the world. But then we have also decided to set up our own development companies in some countries. So where we operate our own development companies, where we build and operate low temperature geothermal power plants, are on Iceland, US, Japan, Taiwan in Asia, and the next markets we hope and believe can be Indonesia. To be able to do this, we have the great honor of having a strong network of owners. So just to run through it very quickly, we have Gullspång on the left, Blue, LMK forward, and Climon in the middle there. And they are the founding partners of Baseload, and they are all Swedish companies. Then we have done 2 equity rounds. So the first one we did in 2018, where the American fund Breakthrough Energy Ventures, led by Bill Gates, invested into us. So there was a great honor for us because it was the first investment that they did outside of the US, and it's great to see that they also believe that low temperature geothermal is something for the future. And then earlier this year, we also got an investment from Chevron, the American oil and gas company. And we are also very proud to have them on board. And it's also a good indication that the oil and gas industry also sees a future in low temperature geothermal. the way we are working is two ways. So from the capital side in Sweden, we provide funding. We work on a global level to try to identify business opportunities, and we also develop a platform for our developing companies on how to run projects efficiently. So that's what we do on the upper row there from the capital level. And then on the local market levels, where we set up development companies, we have the traditional developing process of doing project sourcing, evaluating them and qualifying them, and then picking the right projects and executing them. So in Indonesia right now, we don't have any activities yet, but we are looking for different kind of partners that we can team up with and work with. Just wanted to show also briefly some case studies from projects that we have done, because I think it shows what we can also do in Indonesia. So this was actually the first project that we did back in 2018 on Iceland, and it was an existing well. And Iceland has a very different climate from what you are used in Indonesia. So actually on Iceland, they use hot water for district heating. So that is heating up the houses. So there was a well which was used, the hot water was used for district heating. But what we did then was that we said, okay, here we have a well, it's 140 degrees. So then we took the temperatures 140 down to 80, and then we used that to generate electricity. And now there is a 1.2 megawatt power plant. And a major thing for us to working with low temperature is that we need to find more efficient ways of working. So I think that we did a great job where we actually managed to put up the power plant from nothing to generating electricity in only 10 months. So that also shows that this low temp, small scale power plants can also be done in a more efficient and faster way than you usually see in high temp. And then another case is in Japan, where we work together with a Mitsubishi plant. It's a flash plant, so high temperature. And what we've done there is that we are doing a bottoming cycle. So there we partner up with them, and we use the remaining heat after it comes out from the flash plant, and has a 150 kilowatts ORC power plant to we can then increase the efficiency of the flash plant. So that was just two case studies, and when we look at Indonesia, we see several similar opportunities to come in and increase the efficiency of existing power plants by bottoming cycles, or maybe utilizing already existing wells that has been deemed low temperature before, and there wasn't anyone willing to develop them, or any other opportunities. And like I said, we have a strong network of owners. We have also issued a green bond in Sweden. So we have money ready to deploy and invest. So I hope that this can be a start of many interesting discussions that I would like to have on potential partnerships where we can work together in Indonesia. So I think I will stop there, and if there's any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. Okay, so if there's no questions, I'm not sure if I should stay on the call or what's the next step. Is there anyone on the call who can give me some guidance?
Okay, share this one question from the participant is from Sharif M. The question is, this is my first time heard low temperature geothermal energy. Is it new tech? And is it written about 120 deck C as an input compared to existing geothermal power plant? Does it produce small power? We know that Q MC delta T, which means if the delta T is small, the energy output will be small. Okay, please, Mr.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that is a really interesting question because like I talked about before, I mean, if you want to have the most power electricity generated, then the higher temperature you have in water, the more output you can get, of course. And that's why previously we haven't seen that much development in low temperature. So once again, when we talk about low temperatures, it's usually between 100 to 150 degrees. So at Baseload, we are not a technology company. So we are simply a developer with the focus of developing low temp. But what we see on the market is that there are new technologies. For example, we have a Swedish company called Climon, and they have developed a technology based on ORC, but they have made it much more efficient than we've seen before. So for us, when we now revisit and look at low temperature geothermal projects, we see that we can actually make the projects profitable. And that's a very good example of the project that we have on Iceland, for example. Iceland has one of the lowest electricity prices in the world, but we are still able to make the projects profitable using low temp with this new technology. So for us, we want to combine not only the technology but also all the new innovations in the ecosystem around the geothermal development, drilling and project management to improve the whole process and thereby making low temperature as attractive as high temperature. So that's on the technology side. And then if we talk about the technical details, then yes, I mean it is more difficult to have to get more out of 120 degrees than if you would have steam at 220 degrees. So it's the lower the temperature gets, of course, the more challenging it gets. So high temperature is of course always more attractive from a pure energy output perspective, but we still see that these new technologies that are available on the market right now makes low temp really competitive.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Maybe I think it's not a question again. And thank you for your presentation. It's a great presentation. Thank you so much and see you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hello, Mrs. Lisa. Do you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you clearly. Okay, are you ready for your presentation?
I am. Thank you.
Okay, you can share your presentation by yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Your time is 30 minutes to present. The time is yours.
So I hope you see my screen okay.
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lisa Carlson. I am an area sales manager for a company in Sweden called Alvenius. We deliver spiral welded, high quality, and fast coupled piping systems worldwide. Our focus is on the mining and tunneling industry, industrial applications, water and wastewater, snowmaking, and also fire protection. So I will begin. Our piping systems are special because they are made from a coil, which we spirally weld. And it's made from Swedish steel from a company called SSAB. It's very durable steel. And I'll get more into that in just a second. Our company was established in 1951 in Eskilstuna, where our production facilities are still located today. And we are about 45 employees with an annual turnover of 150 million SEK, or about 15 million euro. We've been delivering millions of kilometers of pipe since 1951 all over the globe. And as I mentioned before, these are some of the applications that we're in. The one that might be most interesting for Indonesia would be our industrial applications. And our Flowmax is a range of steel pipes and fittings and couplings, including everything that you would need to make the most cost-effective piping system with high reliability, top grade safety, resistance, high resistance to corrosion and aggressive media. We also have a very long service life. Our pipes can actually withstand up to 120 bar. And then we also have a K10 system, which can take pressures up to 40 bar. And we deliver pipes from 76 millimeters to 813. So anywhere from about 1.5 inches up to, we can go up as high as 32 inches. So our pipes are extremely energy efficient, and I will tell you why. It's due to the spiral welding. We're able to make an extremely thin wall thickness with our pipes, especially compared to plastic or ductile iron. And this has many benefits. First of all, as you can see in this picture, the weight of the pipes is about 1/3 of the other type of ductile or plastic pipes. We also have a much wider inner diameter, which allows for a better flow through the pipes. Here in this picture, you can see that the pipes are extremely lightweight. This man is able to put them over his head himself. And here you can also see that compared to the ductile pipes, they are about 70% lighter, and for the plastic, about 50% lighter. They also keep their shape without bending while being handled or put under any sort of load. And all of this makes for a very quick and simple installation. Our pipes are used in hard to reach places due to the easy assembly. They're low in weight. I believe that this picture here is taken in the Alps. It takes about 15 minutes to assemble these pipes with our coupling system. And because it's so easy, you can also hire a local labor force to help. It doesn't require a long education like it would for a welded pipe. Also another picture of the transport of our pipes. Yes, this is our quick coupling system. So all you really need is the pipe, a gasket, the couplings, and some nuts and bolts, as well as some mounting grease. And it really is that simple. This quick coupling saves a lot of time when you compare it to welding. The red bar there indicates how long it would take to install with an Alvenius pipe compared to flanges or welded. So you can see it saves significant amount of time. Also, another advantage with our piping system is that they're very easy to replace. If something were to happen, you just take the coupling off and pop the pipe out, as opposed to welded pipe where you actually need to cut and re-weld. And then the full engagement of the housing of these couplings also withstands the pressure restraint and load capabilities. So any pipe movement will not break the coupling, or the coupling will make sure that it holds in place for any sorts of movements. I was thinking even in Indonesia, where there can be some small tremors happening from time to time. So just to reiterate, some of the advantages again are a very long service life thanks to our special coatings, the quick and simple installation, and then the energy efficient piping system. And I say that because the flow of inside of the pipe, and that's down to the special coating, but also you can use a smaller pump and a smaller pipe compared to using ductile iron. Here is a little bit about our special coral flow thermoplast and our rock shield, which gives has a UV resistant electrical isolation, and it's resistant to many chemicals. It's also approved for drinking water. And this also helps so that there's no buildup inside of the pipes. And it also creates an unbeatable low flow resistance. And then we also offer a rock shield in case the pipes need to be gripped, have a better grip. It's coarser. We have done, actually we have extensive experience in the geothermal energy extraction projects from different markets, recently both in the Philippines and the Azores. So here we're delivering to a company called EDC in the Philippines, and our pipes are used for supplying water to the drilling rigs and injection lines there. And again, it's easy to install our pipes in these very rugged terrains, mountainous terrains, forests, rainforests. So yeah, in the end, I just want to say that Alvenius technology saves costs, simplifies assembly, and provides environmental benefits, which will reap positive effects for the Indonesian renewable energy investment and the transition from traditional energy sources to geothermal energy. And that was all from me. That was my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Lisa. And maybe we will wait for the participant who want to ask you. All right. And
yes,
if not question, we will go to the next session. Is it okay?
That's fine for me.
Okay. I think it's not question for participant, Mrs. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's a great presentation.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you so much and see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you ready for your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, you can share your presentation by yourself, and your time is 30 minutes to present from now. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, My name is Stefan Gustafsson, and I'm the responsible of Agenity in Indonesia. I've been working in the energy sector for 35 years, starting from ABB, and the last 20 years I've been working in renewable energy. Now I'm working with Agenity in Indonesia and India to help them to develop the market. Agenity has a vision to work with sustainable electricity with small, medium scale, local overseas applications. Agenity is a Swedish company which was established in 2013. We have 20 plus turbines references, more than 80,000 hours in operation, and 99% of availability of production. Location of the headquarters is in Norrköping, 2 hours south from Stockholm. When Agenity started to develop this product, they were looking at the problem of not using medium and low temperature for heat, and how can we convert this waste or waste heat into electricity. Basically, the arc turbine is using hot water or steam or oil, high temperature oil, from 80 degrees up to 150 degrees, and from there we produce electricity. There is many different applications. Wherever you can find a temperature of 80 degrees, you can run this process. It can be from turbines, exhaust gases, it can be from diesel engines, it can be from solar panels, it can be from geothermal heat, but it can also be from industrial waste heat like aluminium, textile industry, food industry, wherever you have waste of heat. We can also use household waste to burn in an incinerator and produce electricity and also clean water from this. And this is quite common in Sweden, and we have made many installations in this kind of idea. And we also use it in combination with biomass, which is also quite common in Sweden. We produce units from 50 kilowatt up to 2.5 megawatt. All of them are made on a frame, modularized, and comes ready as a package where everything is included, commissioned from Sweden. So it's a plug and play installation at site. And we can also move them around if we need for some reasons. From the size of 1 megawatt, it's in containers, standard 40-foot, 20-foot containers. This can also be standalone electricity production where you don't have a network or grid. Reference installations is mostly in Sweden and in the Nordic countries, because here is our home market, and here has we also developed the market and product. So starting from 2013 with the first installation, and now speeding up more and more installations in the Swedish market, but now also looking for the international market. This is really important for us. Most of these installations are made in community-based district heating systems. So the customer are the communities and larger cities. Waste is a big problem in all over the world. And in Sweden, we have decided many years ago, I think it's 30, 40 years ago, that we should burn this waste and take care of the heat and electricity and clean the gases so we don't pollute the air. huge land areas are consumed, and I know in Indonesia this is also the problem here. We have a lot of methane gas extracting up to the atmosphere, which is a big problem because methane gas is a very aggressive greenhouse gas. There is health consequences, or also there is burning and problem with diseases and so on. We don't want to burn all the waste. We want to recycle as much as possible. There is waste enough for burning, so we don't need to put everything in a chimney. We try to recover and prepare for the burning waste as much as possible so there is a sorting station also involved. We can deliver a turnkey package with a boiler or turbine, sorting station for medium and small installation. This is really important because we are not competing with a large steam system. This is hot water system. You run this up to 850 degrees, so you can extract the pollution in the filters. From here, we can produce electricity, we can produce hot water, and we can also produce recyclables. The hot water we can use for different applications. In Sweden, we use it for district heating, but that's not the idea in Indonesia, where you don't need it. But we can use the hot water to produce clean water or drinking water, which is really interesting actually for Indonesian market. This is the indoor design where you have everything built inside, or you can have an open installation. We have different sizes from 1.2 ton per hour and up to 5 ton per hour. And you can multiply this as many times as you want if you want to go larger size. But we believe this is for smaller installation, not for large installations. This is a schematic diagram for the system, how it's work with a boiler. And here is the local district heating, but it can also be the water production system. And the evaporator and condenser standard and a turbine. Yes, this was the presentation for this. And then I also would like to show you a film. Just trying to find it. Oh, I can't get the film to work. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
You see the film?
Yes, I see it.
Produce our own electricity as well. We came in contact with Exhibitors and went to see a production plant up in Ronneby. They were really happy with their electricity production and proud of it. And that convinced us to invest in our own. It's a really good complement to the production plant we have, since when it's dark outside and it's cold outside, that's when we produce the most electricity, and that's when we have been running for about a year. Since we have seen the results, we can also honestly say that we're happy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Stefan. Maybe we will wait for the participant give a question. If there's not a question, maybe I will for the next session. Is it okay? Is it okay, sir? Okay, so this is there one question from Sarif M. So the factory is in Europe, right? But how about its material or COO and COC? Because usually we have a problem. Some of EPC project prohibits equipment from China and India due to its quality. Okay, please, sir.
We don't produce anything in China or India. Everything is produced from Sweden. So that shouldn't be a problem. And I know that many other installations and products are imported into Indonesia without really a problem. So I don't think that should be a problem.
Okay. So that Mr. Sarif. And mungkin untuk yang lain para partisipan yang ingin bertanya boleh langsung di chat box aja. So if there are no question again, I will start the next session. Thank you so much for Mr. Stefan for your presentation, and see you again. Thank you.
I hope you can hear me. Many thanks for coming to this session. Good afternoon to all people in Indonesia. It's an honor to be on board on this event. So I will guide you through Gevea and our offer, and I will share my screen so you can see some slides here. As I said, my name is Thomas Lundell. I'm the managing director of a company called Gevea. We are quite an old company, plus 100 years, and within the industry of electrical distribution. And it all started 100 years ago with fuses for medium voltage. And by the time the product portfolio has been expanded, and in the 90s, the export business really took off. Today, we are involved in switches and fuse arrangement for power distribution. We do have cable cabinets, which is for the domestic market. And we also do have catenary line products for railways and light rail trams. And that part of the product portfolio is very much based on the product portfolio for power distribution. So we are a hardware company selling products, but it's also a base of competence and knowledge within switches and fuse arrangements. So we are up in the north in Sweden, and of course that's the core market, and the whole Nordic area is our home market. We do have a great market share in that area. The export today is 50% of everything we produce. Our products are today installed in more than 30 countries worldwide. I could say that in Malaysia, the Sarawak region, we have been present for a few years now and installed some 100 air brake switches. We do have our office and production in a city called Norrköping in Sweden, and all export business is done through some kind of representative or agent or distributor. In Givea, we do everything by ourselves, everything from new products, also developing and adapting existing products, of course, which is in most cases driven by customer and market, of course. We do manufacture most of the components by ourselves, and we do the final assembly of the complete product. And of course, we do the sales and so on, and sales support to our partners. As we have been doing a lot of export business through the years, we have a good logistics services, and we are used to ship goods around the globe, really. It's very much focused on reliability and sustainability nowadays, and we are really in the middle of that. We believe very much in both reliability and sustainability, and we are very much committed to be climate neutral in the long run, or not the long run, so but in the near future. So we do believe in local sourcing and production. We are buying renewable energy. We look into recyclability of our products and so on. But what is very important as well in this aspect is that our products are very reliable. Typically, they are in use for 40 to 50 years. Looking into sustainability, more and more projects that we are involved in are for green electricity, like wind and solar power. To the left, you can see an example where we have a customized air brake switches, which is for a wind farm in South Africa. We are also involved in a project up in the north in Sweden with electrification of transport. These are just two examples of customer-specific projects where we are involved with knowledge within the electrical distribution. Also on the product side, we do have very sustainable solutions. It's very common with SF6 low brake switches today in many regions. It's a quite old design. It's a heavy and complicated installation and requires a lot of regular maintenance. And the SF6 is really potent greenhouse gas. So, and it's going out of market in more and more applications today. We do have a very good substitute for that product, and it's our low brake switch with a low brake head with a dry design, and it's almost maintenance free. So at 24 kilovolts, for example, we can brake 630 amps, and the short time current is 25 kA. And the mechanical endurance is more than 2,000 operations, and as I said before, our products are typically used for 40 to 50 years. So what are we doing then? We have a range of standard products within electrical distribution. It's a modular building systems, as you will see, a lot of customized products and solutions, and our products are well known to the market as easy to install, low weight designs, and as I said, a minimal maintenance requirements. So this is the core product of the company. Switches, air brake switches of, in different shapes. We are in the range of 10 to 52 kilovolts, and we do have a load brake capacity up to 630 amps, and the rated current up to 2,500 amps. The high amp is typically used within mine areas or railway applications. Just to show you a few examples of that we are capable of making customized solutions of our standard products. Just 3 examples, going from overhead line to earth cable or ground cable, for examples. Our product is, we have a couple of key features. One is the low pressure contact technology. It looks quite simple contact, but you can see that it has a special shape here. And if you have a load on the line when you're closing, the sparks or the damage is on the tip here, but when you close the contact, you have an undamaged surface on both contact parts here, which is a very good and simple solution really to maintain a reliable function over time. Another thing is that what is low pressure? Yeah, it's a kind of low pressure in the contact, which is also a key feature for being reliable over the years. In close position, the switch could be in close position for many years without operation. And when coming there, you want to be sure that it's easy to open or it's possible to open. And with our technology, we have seen that it's very reliable in that case. It's not stuck, it's close position. We do have different solutions for different braking capacity on the line. It's the capacity to open the switch with power on the line. So it's 630, 125 amp braking capacity. It's a modular building system. You have a base of an air brake switch, which you can have different connecting accessories to. You can have different kind of operation, over voltage protection, spark gaps, surge arresters and fuses. You could have auxiliary contacts, earthing accessories, assembling accessories, etc. So it's very easy to adapt to each market. We can also combine our switches with a fuse arrangement. So you have a combined fused switch here in different shapes. We do have pure fuse arrangements of different kind, also in combination with surge arresters, for instance. The railway program of products we do supply today supply power line switches, catenary switches, and return disconnectors. As I said before, these products are based very much on the product range for electrical distribution. But of course, on that market, we see some other requirements. For instance, you have a braking capacity up to 2,500 amps. And fuse arrangement, of course, also for railway applications. So what I would like to, my message today is that we are within our niche, within electrical distribution up to 52 kilowatts. We are a leading and worldwide known supplier of products and solutions within air brake switches and fuse arrangements. We do have all the sales, design, and production at the same location in Norrköping, Sweden. Our products are produced in-house. We do have a long experience of export sales and the logistics services. And what is important when you have remote business is to have a strong local representative. And our aim is to have a both commercial and technical capable partner, giving customers in the specific country logistic solutions, but also to provide local content, which means in our cases to have the final assembly and also adding some of the mounting accessories, for instance, on a local base. And in Indonesia, we are cooperating with a company called PT Sikamindo, a part of the Sikam group. Givea is a part of the energy division within AdTech. AdTech is a public company in Sweden, and the turnover is 1 billion euro, or approximately $1 billion a year. So we have a very strong mother behind our company. So you can see a very short overview of the AdTech group here. And we are belonging here in the business area energy. So that's a short introduction to Gevea and our services. Thank you for listening. So now I think it's time for questions and discussions. So please feel free to send me questions or...
Yes, Thomas, actually there is a question here in the chat box, if you can see it.
Yes, I just see it here. It's equipment guarantee. It's a question about equipment guarantee, and typically our standard conditions is that we offer 18-month warranty after installation. But in some cases we do exceptions from that. And spare parts are available. Usually we do it in different ways, really. In some cases we have a spare part kit sent together with a major shipment, for instance. But also, again, having local representatives, we want them as well to be at your service for that purpose. And I can also say that our sales of spare parts is extremely limited. We have very seldom a requirement for spare parts. It's typically a physical damage due to accidents or whatever, to the insulator or contact. But all parts are retrofittable, really. So it's usually not a problem. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. Is this a question from Sharif M? The question is, I would like to know of your equipment warranty, how much you usually offer to your client? Usually in a EPC company, their minimum request is 2 years, with also a spare part availability for continuity operation. Other insight is there is also a challenge for an EPC company since EPC projects sometimes prohibits equipment come from China and India due to its quality. Sometimes it breaks in such a short term, not reliable. We can call it an accessories or just small equipment, but it actually makes a huge impact to operation. What can you tell about your equipment reliability?
Yeah, the reliability is very good, I would like to say. As I said, a typical installation or operation of our product is 40 to 50 years. And you could say that in one way, we may, even though it's have a relative low weight compared to some of the competitors, it's in another way still over-dimensioned in the mechanical aspect. And a sign of reliability, I think, is that you find us in all available climate zones, I think, on the earth. So as I said, we are present in the Sarawak region with a tropical climate. We do have a lot of installations in the Middle East, in the desert. We do have installation on the west coast of Norway, which is seen as an extremely rough environment due to salt matter air and very windy and close to the sea. So it requires a good treatment of the surface and oxidation. It shouldn't oxidize. So I think I could honestly say that we have a very reliable equipment. And I can give a list of references to anyone that is interested, really. So, but anyway, an accident can happen, and we do have a good supply of spare parts, and I could say also that no spare part is obsolete as we are producing the parts by ourselves. So it's a good access to parts.
Okay, thank you so much for your answers, sir. And now we will wait for another question from participant, and we will wait for the question.
Yeah, okay.
Untuk peserta yang ingin bertanya, boleh langsung tulis pertanyaannya di kolom chat box, dan nanti akan saya bacakan dan akan dijawab oleh speaker atau narasumber.
I can also refer to that we have made, there are two prototypes installed in Indonesia at the moment. So in the central Jakarta and the region Banten. So it's quite exciting. So PLN is at the moment evaluating our products.
Okay, we will wait for 2 minutes maybe. If there not a question, I will close this session. Is okay, sir?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, we will wait 2 minutes until the participant give the question.
Yeah. And during the meantime, I can say that if you have any further question later on, it's just to contact me by email or give me a call. You find me on the homepage of givea.se. I have all the contact details there. Yeah, I can say also, as I know that there are a lot of projects to get a sustainable electrical both production and distribution in Indonesia. I can just underline that we are open to discuss solutions suitable for your market.
Okay, sir. Maybe I think there's my question again, and maybe we will close this session. And thank you so much for Mr. Thomas. Okay, we will see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Dan terima kasih untuk semua peserta yang sudah menghadiri untuk bisnis sesi ini. Semoga kita dapat bertemu atau mengadakan sesi-sesi bisnis meeting yang lainnya. Terima kasih banyak. Selamat sore.